"You're not supposed to be here, kid," the foreman bellowed, sweat glistening on his brow as steam hissed from the steel beast behind him. But the girl didn't flinch. Dressed in a crisp white blazer, pencil skirt, and heels that clacked defiantly on the metal floor, she stepped forward, unbothered by the grease-stained workers who paused their tasks to stare. Behind her, the factory doors swung shut. What none of them knew, what not even the boss knew, was that under that pristine corporate exterior was the only person on Earth who could fix the impossible engine. And she was about to turn their world upside down. Part 1, The Factory's Last Chance. The Calderon engineering plant had once been a symbol of American industrial pride. Built in the 1960s, it had produced machines that powered everything from aircraft carriers to deep-sea oil rigs. But now, it was weeks from being shut down. The government project, the Titan engine, was a last-ditch attempt to save it. If the Titan worked, it would revolutionize energy. If it failed, hundreds would be out of jobs, and Calderon would be another name etched into the long tombstone of forgotten industries. The problem? The Titan wasn't just failing, it was inexplicable. None of the engineers could figure it out. Computer diagnostics made no sense. Parts that shouldn't move were vibrating. Parts that should move were still. A $3.2 billion mystery with no solution. So when Mr. Briggs, the stern, old-school factory boss, ordered one last Hail Mary, no one questioned him. What shocked everyone was who walked through the door the next morning. Not a world-class physicist. Not a senior engineer flown in from Europe. It was his daughter. Emily Briggs. 25. Recent MIT graduate. Known not for her soft skills, but for her ability to read engine schematics like poetry. But the Emily that entered the factory that morning looked like she belonged at a corporate conference, not a dying plant. Her hair was pinned in a tight bun, and her outfit was clearly hand-picked by her father to command authority. But Emily wasn't here to play dress-up. Part 2, A Mechanic's Heart in a Lady's Clothes. Emily had grown up around engines. While other kids played with dolls or video games, she'd sat under workbenches beside her father, watching him patch broken machinery with a grit only true mechanics knew. But she also knew he never wanted her to follow in his footsteps. When Emily was 13, her mother, also a mechanic, had died in a shop explosion. Her father, broken and haunted, swore he'd never let Emily near another engine. He pushed her into academics, into clean halls and polished shoes. But grease doesn't wash off easily. At MIT, Emily had secretly specialized in thermodynamics and mechanical systems. Her thesis had even been on high-frequency oscillation anomalies, exactly the type of phenomenon plaguing the Titan engine. But she never told her father. She'd spent her life trying to earn his pride, and now she had one chance to save the one place he loved even more than her, his factory. Part 3, The Impossible Machine. The Titan engine was unlike anything the world had seen. It used a hybrid magnetic plasma reaction meant to generate unlimited clean energy. But something had gone terribly wrong. When Emily first approached the core, she ignored the whistles and laughs from the other engineers. They saw a girl in heels walking around a machine that had made full-grown men cry. She knelt, traced her fingers across the humming metal, and listened, not with her ears, but with her understanding. "It's breathing wrong," she murmured. "What did you say?" snapped one of the senior engineers. "The system is exhaling when it should be inhaling. You've synced the core oscillations to the frame frequency, but this engine doesn't want to be synced. It wants to dance." Laughter erupted. Dance? What the hell does that mean? But Emily didn't answer. She had already unpinned her hair and slid off her blazer, revealing a simple gray tank top underneath. She pulled a wrench from her bag, dropped to the floor in her skirt, and opened the Titan's lower shell. "What are you doing?" her father barked, storming into the room. "Fixing it," she said calmly. "Not dressed like that, you're not." I didn't choose this, she replied without looking up. You did. But if you want me to fix the impossible, you need to let me be who I am. Part 4, The Secret She Never Meant to Tell. Over the next 36 hours, Emily didn't sleep. She rewired sensors. Recalibrated oscillation delays. Installed a primitive acoustic dampener made from spare titanium sheets and vibration foam. And through it all, her father watched from a distance, conflicted, ashamed, and increasingly curious. At 2 a.m. on the second night, he found her asleep on the floor, holding a blueprint and mumbling equations in her sleep. He covered her with his coat and whispered, "You're your mother's daughter." When Emily awoke, her hands blistered and her eyes red, the machine was ready. They powered it up. It hummed. Then pulsed. Then. A deep, melodic whirring filled the air. Not like the shrill cry it once made, but like the purr of a perfectly tuned symphony. The lights didn't flicker. The pressure gauges didn't shake. The Titan engine worked. And then came the shock. Emily stepped back, wiped her hands, and finally faced her father, and the entire room. "I didn't come here because I wanted to prove something," she said. "I came because I knew Mom would have never wanted this machine to fail. You've spent your life trying to protect me from her fate, but I've spent mine running toward her legacy." She paused, voice thick with emotion. She left behind more than grief. She left behind me. There was silence. Then, a slow clap. Then cheers. And tears. Even her father, the stoic boss, broke. He pulled her into an embrace, whispering, "I see her in you. And I've never been prouder." Epilogue, A New Dawn at Calderon. The Titan engine became a breakthrough in global energy. The government restored full funding to Calderon engineering. Jobs were saved. New workers were hired. And at the center of it all? Emily. Not in heels. Not in a blazer. But in her mother's old mechanic suit, walking the factory floor like she was born to be there. Her story wasn't just about machines or energy. It was about legacy. About being brave enough to wear the clothes others pick for you, and strong enough to take them off when they no longer fit.